This is a call for an uprising. Welcome to today's show. I mean, is all you can really say about this. Or maybe, whatever sound effect just equals disgust. I mean, leaving you speechless. Before I get into this video, I just have to say this is not hate speech or an attack on anyone whatsoever. This is just merely me trying to make sense of something that makes absolutely no sense. So it's not an attack on people who have different claim, all this stuff, all this gender stuff. But get a load of this. If you think you haven't seen it all from people pretending to be dogs, which I've done videos on, right? They're literally claiming as their gender to be a dog. A city recommends this is Newsweek. A city recommends teaching all genders can start periods in sex ed equality campaign. Oh yeah? Oh, so I look between my legs. I know what I see down there. You're telling me I can have a period now? Right? You're telling me I can have a time of the month? No, I can't. So why are you telling little boys that they can have their period? And how are people not absolutely just confused in utter disbelief that this kind of crap is being pushed by our governments? And it's in Newsweek. This isn't The Onion. This isn't the Inquirer at your grocery checkout. As part of a gender-inclusive push in the UK, a city council in England issued guidelines to teachers of sex ed courses that young students should be taught all genders can get their period. Does that mean people can we all get, all the guys out there listening, can we all get pregnant? I mean, for people who push science all the time on us, they push science. They're like, oh, well, this type of matter and all this stuff, and you could get gravity and everyone's like, ooh, yeah. But can some scientists explain to a man how a man can have a period? I'm really curious. The Britton and Hove City Council issued the advice to local schools urging sex ed instructors to provide red box bins for menstrual products in both girls' and boys' restrooms. The December 3rd Neighborhoods Inclusion, Communities, and Equalities Committee addressed period-positive practices that would allow kids born as both male and female to feel comfortable discussing healthy menstruation prior to puberty. Whew. The program, I don't know what to say, because you got to limit what you could say on here, right? You can't hurt anyone's feelings. And obviously, oh my goodness, there's so many people offended by my opinion because what's the old saying, sticks and stones may break my bones? Well, now apparently breathing on somebody could break someone's bones because everybody's such a sensitive crybaby out there. Whereas other people call them libtards or whatever they want to classify people as. And even people, who cares if you're on the left or the right? You're okay with this? Little boys being told that they can menstruate and have a period? I mean, what? And then they claim to be like Harvard-educated scholar. Like, what? Oh. That's why I need to have a podcast on my website so I can actually say what I want to say. Because trust me, it'll be a lot funnier than this, that's for sure. The program aims in part to remove a societal stigma and boundaries that may prevent young people of all genders from obtaining healthy menstrual cycle products and adapting safe. But why would even if you were on board and you were like, oh, if you're someone who out there, right? None of us agree with this gender. I mean, it makes no sense, but just say hypothetically, right? You're someone who's like, all right, I'm okay with a boy wanting to identify as a girl and vice versa, right? Just hypothetically say that. How, even in saying that, can you say that young people of all genders can obtain a healthy menstrual cycle and adopt safe practices as if they have the same body parts, the same organs? I mean, what? The change to sex ed instructions is being lauded by transgender rights and gender equality advocates, but conservative critics, I guess is that where I fall in? Even though I'm not conservative, I'm not Republican or a Democrat. Conservative critics said the guidelines were deliberately confusing to children. They're deliberately confusing to me. And I'm a grown man. I mean, I think everyone who listens to my channel or is listening right now is confused, let alone the children, right? And look at, they even have this picture of the boy who has a shirt that says ball boy. The girl says ball girl. What are they going to say? It shouldn't say ball girl. It's just ball person, right? You know, the baseball game, they got the boy. Boy, the council report stated trans boys and men and non-binary people may have periods. Menstruation must be inclusive of all genders. The new primary relationships and sex education lessons plans take a period positive approach. There is more work to do across all settings to prevent and reduce stigma related to periods and talking about periods. I mean, I can't even believe what I'm reading. In a period positive school, language and learning about periods is inclusive of all genders, cultures, faith, and sex orientation. How if you don't have to? Boy. I mean, it's like saying in class you're going to teach. I can't word this properly without even using disgusting terminology, so I won't even say it. The council report cited a planned international UK study that found 1 in 10 girls in the UK were unable to afford period products. Additionally, the research said nearly half of girls missed at least one entire day of school because of their period, a result of significant taboo and stigma surrounding periods and menstruation. Okay, well, what does that have to do with a boy? You want to put this stuff in the girls' bathroom for girls? I mean, so you're pretty much saying you're putting this in the men's room for a transgender child who identifies as a boy but still is having his period? Or are you saying it? I mean, is it just me? Maybe I've lost it because I don't know where I fit in this world anymore. But all the sane people are. I mean, really, I talk about, you know, Christians we're running low. More and more people are just falling away and stuff. How about sane people? Anyone seen any of them lately other than the people who listen to this channel? And, you know, others, of course, there's others who are smart who don't listen to my channel, but you get my point. The UK's Royal College of Pediatricians and Child Health issued a statement earlier this year appearing to preemptively agree with the recently passed council guidelines. There needs to be a clear statement that LGBT people and relationships are part of teaching about healthy relationships in primary school. This can be demonstrated in relation to families, but also it is helpful to children to learn the meaning of terms such as lesbian, gay, and bisexual, the statement asserted. A UK member of parliament and British Conservative Party politician labeled the council instructions the latest example of barking mad trans activism. He took a shot at the city's more liberal approach to sexual health, tweeting Sunday that the activism comes from Brighton, where 8-year-old pupils will be told boys can have periods too under new sex education guidelines. I mean, I guess if somebody wants to get I'm sure they will. I wouldn't be surprised if they roll out a Harvard scientist, or some Ivy League school, of course, because remember, those are trigger words. So people automatically will listen and they'll go, well, it's a doctor. He's a doctor at Harvard. He knows more than you. Call for an uprising. Maybe he figured something out that we don't know. And he comes out and he says, well, we've learned that even if a boy has a penis, at the age of 12 or 13, he can have his period and menstruate. And people will be like, yeah, okay, well, the doctor said it. I mean, and people just keep, like the Energizer Bunny, right? The stupidity keeps going and going and going and going. And unfortunately, unlike the Energizer battery, these people don't run out. They just keep going along with this stuff. You wish they were on batteries that ran out of steam. I'm not saying, run out of steam so maybe they could just get a reality check real quick. Boy, I mean, I like to say, I don't think anything will top anything, or I won't be, nothing surprised me anymore. But I mean, these are things like you can't even fathom, right? Like physically, this is like, you can't even could you make this up? I mean, is somebody sitting there, clearly we know the Baphomet worshipers are sitting there thinking of this kind of crap. But if you were going to sit and you're going to all right, what is the most one of the most ridiculous things? Well, we know all the gender stuff, but telling boys that they can have menstrual cycles and educations on periods because they can get them. And now we're going to be convinced that we can get periods while the elites laugh at the stupidity of humanity. And I'm telling you, these people are going to agree. And it's just going to be taught in school, just like all the lies that we all learned and were indoctrinated with. Now we all know they were all lies. Well, the next generations are going to learn this stuff, and they're going to be like, wait a minute, there was once a world where men didn't get periods, and we'll be long dead. Now, that's how it's going to work, right? After the generations go, and that's why we're getting closer and closer to the end times, because as more and more people get into the technology and shift away from Christianity, which they've done, and the falling away occurs, these are generations that aren't taught these things. Right? And they're indoctrinated with the same lies of school and that stuff. And then they're going to bring this type of stuff in, and they're going to think it's normal. Like, what are you talking about? Boys and girls can get, they're going to be like, there was a time period where you didn't get to pick your gender? I mean, that's how insane it's gotten. Boy, I thank you. I thank you for listening to today's show. This is not hate speech on any gender or anything like that. Just call me crazy, but I think it's a little bit out there to say that men are going to be taught how to get periods, but what do I know, right? Let me go lay out in the woods and let the blizzard fall on my face. I thank you for listening to today's show. God bless all of you and your families.